You are Locked On Giants Postcast, part of Locked On Sports San Francisco on the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Yo, what's up, everyone, and welcome back to the Locked On Giants Postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. You may know me as the former producer for the Murph and Mac Show on KMBR 680, and tonight, Oracle Park couldn't put the San Francisco Giants back on track as the Giants fall to the Reds 4-2. Logan Webb pitched well, but the Giants offense comes up short, and my God, am I tired of saying those words. The Giants also sustained yet another injury, this time to Austin Slater, and it cost them a couple runs. Not really what I expected to be saying at the top of the show, but for what it's worth, Slater, he's been good defensively. Today, they missed him out there in center, and the Giants just look like a team that the rest of Major League Baseball looks forward to playing. The Reds get right after ending an 8-game losing streak in this one. We'll break it all down, but first I want to thank all of you for watching us on the Locked On Sports San Francisco YouTube channel. Please hit that subscribe button if you are not already subscribed. Thanks also for getting us on the Locked On Giants podcast feed. However you're tuning in, we appreciate it. And make sure to check out the Locked On Giants Daily Show for more in-depth coverage. Ben Kaspick does a great job. The Reds really did a lot of damage to the Giants on the base paths in this one, and that's to be expected. You have the best base stealer in all of baseball, Elly De La Cruz. He let it off in the top of the first, singled in this one. Webb almost picked him off, but instead they actually called him out and had to replay review. David Bell, shout out Forever Giant David Bell, called for the replay from the Reds dugout, and it was overturned. He was safe. Steal second. Double off the wall by Spencer Steer, scores him later on in the inning. And on that play, Austin Slater took a header off the chain link fence. He did stay in the game initially, but came out after the Giants came into bat. I'm sure he was having concussion symptoms. I mean, he ran into that wall so hard, and he hit the one part of that wall that is not padded. His head went right into that chain link fence in center field. That's kind of like, it's got the padding on the top and the padding on the bottom, and that middle part, it just doesn't have anything on it. And to be fair, like, you got to be able to see in there to see the bullpen. It's just a tough situation. It's really tough. So Austin Slater takes a header off the chain link fence, and the Giants really missed his defense later on in this one, but they do come back in the bottom of the first inning, and Thairo Estrada barrels one up, solo shot to left center field, but yet another solo home run for the Giants. I mean, when can they ever start to get some base runners on in front of these guys? This has been an issue all season long. They aren't hitting very many home runs anyways, but when they do, nobody's on base. And it's been frustrating all season long, man. Thairo's 6th of the season, 97.1 off the bat, not his hardest hit ball of his career, but good enough to get it out of the yard over the left field fence. Giants tie it up 1-1. Wilmer then came up and doubled down the left field line, and Matt Chapman strikes out with Wilmer at second. Another opportunity for Chapman to play to run. Could have been a big difference maker in this one. Comes up short. Top of the second inning, though, Chapman makes up for it a little bit on the defensive end. He and Wilmer turn two to end the inning. Great play by both guys. Chapman fielded a sharply hit ground ball and had a ways to run to get to the bag, stepped on third and rifled it across the diamond to get the runner at first. As soon as his foot hit that bag, that ball was out of his hand, and it was a pretty damn good throw. It did take kind of a weird hop once it hit that grass, though, and Wilmer did a great job to field it cleanly. The ball kind of got in on his body. His glove was at an awkward angle. He snared it, man. He made a great play. I'm not confident in Wilmer Flores at first, but that was a nice play by Wilmer. So kept the score tied 1-1. Bottom second, Ramos comes up, lead off double into left center. Elliot Ramos has looked really nice since he has come up from Sacramento. Yes, it's only been a couple games, but I don't want to see him ever go back down and play in a River Cats uniform. We already talked about this on the last show, but man, he has proven his case every single time he's up to bat. That first at bat, 108.1 off the bat, rips a double into left center. He's been hitting lefties pretty well in the minors this year. Looks like that's continuing at the big league level for him. Tyler Fitzgerald hits a flare to shallow right, and it scores Ramos. Giants take a 2-1 lead. And then that's when things started to get a little wonky. De La Cruz then singles in the top of the third. Tyler Fitzgerald error allows him to take second on that hit. That error ended up proving costly because he immediately steals third base. Forever Giant Mike Ford then draws a walk, and Spencer Steer bloops one into right, scores Ellie. Wilmer almost made a Gold Glove caliber play. Like, he would have found himself on Web Gems tonight if they even still run that on Sports Center. That used to be like my favorite segment to watch. I would stay up and watch all the ESPN baseball stuff just so I could watch Web Gems when I was in like junior high. That was such a fun segment. I don't know why they ever got rid of it. But anyways, Wade did play tonight, his first start against a lefty, but he wasn't at first. So Wilmer Flores almost snared that one. It was right over his head. He had to run straight back. He almost dropped it right in the breadbasket. Almost like, shades of the Say Hey Kid, but, at first base instead of center field. It was a tough play, point being, and he was not able to make it. He did get a little bit of the leather on it, but couldn't haul it in. I think Ellie probably would have scored even if Wilmer caught that ball. He's running into the outfield. He's got his back turned to the infield. He's in an awkward position to make a throw. If Ellie was tagging from third on that play, I think he probably would have been safe anyways. But he gets a step or two head start and scores from third. So that error proves costly because, granted, Ellie might have just stolen second if he had gotten stuck at first base instead of being able to take second on the Tyler Fitzgerald error. But it just made it that much easier for him to just only have to steal one bag and then be standing there on third base. And how crazy is it that this guy, he's got like 25 steals on the season this year. He's in like very rarefied air to have this many steals at this point of the season. He's tied with guys like Ricky Henderson for this many steals at this point of the year. He's looking to break single season steals records and things like that. So Ellie off to a tear this season so far, and this isn't really anything new. This is what he's been doing his whole career. Ellie De La Cruz is absolutely electric. I love watching him play baseball, even though he is not a Giant. One of my favorite guys in the MLB to just like go out to the yard and see play. Like if we're ranking guys on other teams that you want to go out there and see, he's pretty high on the list for me, honestly. Like, he's just electric. He's fun. And he's so big. Seeing a guy that big moving like that, that's crazy. A guy who's like 6'5", being able to just take off like that, like straight line sprint speed. Yeah, I get that. He's big. He's got long legs, but being able to get those long legs moving that quick at that short of a distance, man, Ellie De La Cruz is really, really, really impressive. Anyways, bottom three, Reds tied it up 2-2 in the top of the third on that Spencer Steer RBI that scored Ellie De La Cruz. Bottom three, Lamont Wade Jr. doubles with one out. Flores and Chapman both fail to drive him in. Gets stuck there on second base. Chapman should have had a walk in that at bat, to be fair, but ball four was actually called strike two and grounded out on the next pitch. So Giants' threat ended there. In the top of the fourth inning, the Reds go out and get yet another run, a Benson single, followed by a Jonathan India ground ball that moved him over, and a TJ Friedel double that scored Benson. Reds take the lead 3-2. That error really looming large. And that's kind of all she wrote for the Giants. They were not able to dig themselves out of that hole. There was a couple more interesting moments of note in this one. Ramos in the bottom of the fourth roped another this time a single, but just another line drive, just frozen rope into the outfield of Oracle Park. Like I said, this one to left field, 105.3 off the bat. It went right to the left fielder though, so it wasn't an opportunity for a base hit. But if that thing had been in the gap, he would have just kept on running, man. And Ramos, I think, has really proven that he needs to stay here at this point. The ball's just jumping off his bat. He looks really, really, really dang good in that batter's box on a team where you don't have a lot of guys that are hitting the ball very well at all, not really squaring it up. I think he might have already like getting close to the amount of balls hit off the barrel that Jorge Soler has for the whole season. So, I want to see Ramos stay up here, stay with the club. He's provided a spark when there hasn't been much else to talk about. Jonathan India in the top of the seventh steals second, but Friedel, batter's interference, makes him go back to first. That ended up being a huge play. It was kind of weird. Mike Rucco said on the broadcast he didn't think it was batter's interference. I kind of do. The back end of his swing, the bat kind of came back in front of Jackson Reitz and barely grazed his jersey, but it still got in his throwing path. He couldn't really step up and throw the ball to second base. So I would say, and Friedel didn't really make any effort really to get out of the way at all. Friedel also struck out on that swing. So the Reds lose a steal and get a strikeout. And as I said, huge play because up next comes Ellie De La Cruz. He had a rocket down the third baseline, but Chapman made another great play at third base, fielded the hot shot to his left that was hit so hard it spun him around, but he fired a perfect throw to second, and the Giants were able to roll to somehow get Ellie De La Cruz, like the fastest guy in baseball, on the back end of that double play. That was impressive by the Giants defense. And that was all she wrote for Logan Webb. He was done after 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned walks, or two earned runs, 3 runs total given up. That Tyler Fitzgerald error looming large, 2 walks, 6 strikeouts, but still in line to take a loss. I mean, what else does Logan Webb have to do? This guy goes out there and gives you 7 innings of 2 earned run baseball, and you can't get him a win. This is the first time the Giants have lost when their starter has gone 7+ innings this season. They were 10-0 coming into tonight. Logan Webb goes 7 innings, 3 runs, only 2 earned, and the Giants can't pick him up. This is embarrassing, man. This team just flat out cannot hit. You got one guy in the lineup who was hitting tonight, and that was, I guess, 2. You got Tyro Estrada, who hit the bomb, and you got Elliot Ramos. The only guy who had multiple hits for the Giants in this one was in AAA last week. Like, this team is so bad at the plate, man. And yet another injury. I know Austin Slater was batting like 128 on the season so far, so you're not really going to miss him at the plate, but that injury really loomed large, man. I mean, in that 8th inning after Webb came out, Stuart Fairchild hits an inside the park home run off left center field, just slams that ball off the wall. But both Conforto and Fitzgerald tried to make a play on the ball, and nobody was playing the carom. This is where you really miss Jung-Hoo Lee and even Austin Slater, who obviously, as I said, exited the game earlier with a concussion. Jung-Hoo Lee still a little banged up from that series in Colorado. That road trip really just took a lot out of the Giants. A lot of guys on the injured list now. Patrick Bailey, Jung-Hoo Lee, Murphy's on the list. I mean, there's so many guys on the injured list for the Giants now, and I'm expecting to see Austin Slater added to that as well after being removed from this game after just smashing his head off that wall. Anyways, that insurance run, there was nobody on base, so it was just a single run inside the park home run, and the Reds insurance run gives them a 4-2 lead. In the bottom of the 8th, Matt Chapman did get into one. He gave it a ride, but it stayed in the yard. It just got under it too much, but 105.4 off the bat. It's a step in the right direction. I mean, I'm not trying to say that he's where he needs to be. Believe me, clearly, this guy is not where he needs to be. It's not what the Giants thought they were getting when they signed him this offseason, but this could be a sign that he's back on the path to getting his swing back to what Giants fans had kind of expected it would be when they made this move in the offseason. Chapman has been pretty good defensively for most of the season. This last road trip, he was not, which was really weird, but the rest of the year, he's been very solid defensively. You like the glove, but you really signed him for both the glove and the bat. If he's just a glove in the infield, I mean, that's not going to cut it, man. This guy needs to drive in some runs for the Giants. He needs to start hitting with runners in scoring position. And another big problem for the Giants today, as they were 1 for 6 with runners in scoring position and left 7 runners on base. If you pick up 7 hits and you leave 7 runners on base, that's not very good. He's stranded almost every single base runner you have in the game. So the Giants, 4-2 loss. Tough. I mean, they're in a bad way right now. The Reds snap an 8-game losing streak tonight in Oracle Park against the Giants. The Giants are just, after that 3-7 road trip, come home to Oracle Park and lay an egg against the Cincinnati Reds, who are now 17-21. The Giants 17-23 with the loss. They're now 6 games under 500. That's tied for the most games under 500 they've been all season long. I mean, we're running out of positive things to talk about here on the Giants postcast. The Elliot Ramos looks nice. That's about all I got for you in terms of positivity today. More on the other side. We got to break down more from this one. Logan Webb actually had a pretty good day before getting caned. The Reds get right. versus the Giants. Elliot Ramos looks great. Wilmer Flores needs to step it up. Lamont Wade Jr., though, double tonight. Gets his first start of the season against the lefty and looks great. I want him out there every single day. More to break down in this one and some Dusty Baker stuff. We gotta talk about Dusty Baker a little bit today. Stick with us on the other side of the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Ingle. We will be right back. You know that instant confidence boost you get from an outfit that makes you look really good? Well, that's what I get with Stitch Fix. Easily upgrade your wardrobe this year with a professional stylist that helps you find new on-trend favorites that will work for you. I just give my stylist my size, style, and budget preferences. I order boxes when I want and how I want. No subscription required. And they send 5 just for me pieces, plus outfit recommendations and pro styling advice. You know I need that. I keep what works and send back the rest. My stylist always sends just the right pieces, and the fit is on point. It's like they have style ESP. I don't know how they do it, but they just get me. Stitch Fix makes it all so easy. I don't like to shop, and they save me that time and effort. Plus, I get outfits that make me look good and feel really good. And if you don't love something, just send it back. Shipping, returns, and exchanges are always free. Style that makes you feel as good as you look. Get started today at stitchfix.com/MLB and get $20 off your first fix. That's stitchfix.com/MLB for $20 off. stitchfix.com/MLB. Must redeem within 7 days of signing up. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Ingle. And tonight, the Giants 4-2 loss to the Cincinnati Reds. And Reed, my guy, I feel like you and I are always in lockstep. Whenever I see you commenting on the postcast, I mean, I agree. Young guys need to play right now. I mean, this is the time. We got Casey Schmidt out there today. Ramos is coming up. I want to keep seeing the youth movement. However, I do want to continue and reiterate, we need to pump the brakes on Marco Luciano. You do not want that guy. He hasn't really been at the top of his game this year in AAA, honestly. He has been up and down, and he hasn't been as good as he's been in prior seasons. I know he's in AAA now, but, I mean, you want this guy to be at the top of his game when he comes up to the big league level. You don't want him to be struggling against AAA pitching and coming up to Major League Baseball. He's struggling against AAA pitching. He's going to struggle against big league pitching too. So we don't want that to happen. We want this guy to be feeling himself like Mac Dre when he's coming up and ready to tear the cover off the ball at Oracle Park. I do not want the Giants to bring this guy up out of necessity. I want them to bring him up because he forces their hand. I don't want to see another instance of a guy with all this immense talent that just becomes a head case because he's on a bad team. Shout out Tyler Beatty and his career with the Giants. So I don't want to see that happen. I do want to see Marco Luciano in the Giants uniform. Don't get me wrong. Like, I have him in a dynasty keeper league. So of course I want to see Marco Luciano. And he's been like the most highly touted Giants position player prospect in like a decade. So this guy should be up this season, but I don't want to see him right now. I really don't. Anyways, we got to get back to Logan Webb's game today. I mean, Webby, he did his job on the mound. He 7 innings pitched. As I said, he scattered 8 hits, 3 runs, only 2 earned, only 2 walks, and 6 strikeouts. Logan Webb was dealing. I mean, 100 pitches, 7 innings pitched. He was doing his job out there. 11 ground balls for Logan Webb again. I mean, this guy just a ground ball machine, and it just couldn't translate to a win. His Giants offense is putrid right now. But before I get into that, I should really quick give a shout out to the homie Nathan, who listens to the Locked On Giants postcast. I put it out to the world. I was looking for a Logan Webb, the basketball gamer. And if you're watching on the stream, you see it right here. The Logan Webb Giants 62. Oh, man. Shout out my guy, Nathan. Appreciate you, dude. Anyways, Logan Webb got absolutely no support in this one. I mean, the Giants offense, terrible. They scratched across 7 hits. But it's the hits with the runners on base and the hits with the runners in scoring position that they really need to do. And I don't know what more they need to, like, you want guys like Estrada and Wade up with runners on base in front of them right now. It's just not working out, man. I mean, like, Estrada and Wade batting 3 and 4 in the lineup today. or 2 and 3 in the lineup today, you think they're going to have some opportunity to hit with some guys on base in front of them. No, no, they're not. I mean, both of them come up with extra base hits. Doesn't matter. Nobody's on base. They can't drive anybody in if you don't get on base. Giants only draw 2 walks today as well. If you're only going to be able to get 7 hits and you're not going to be able to have those be timely hits at all, then you need to be getting on base. You need to find other ways to manufacture runs. We've talked about this before. The Giants do not steal bases well. So get that idea out of your head. There's no Ellie De La Cruz in a San Francisco Giants uniform. There's nobody on this team who really has the speed and ability to steal bases besides Jung-Hoo Lee. He's not really a base stealer. He's never really done that in his career. Didn't do that in his career in the KBO. He's been a fast guy over there. He was like a 3-hitter though. So he's not really a guy who's stealing a lot of bases. Maybe that's something that he can learn as he develops in Major League Baseball. Remember, this guy is still a rookie. He's still pretty young. No, he's not typical rookie age, but this guy's still very young. The Giants will have him for a long time. He can maybe adjust and add that to his game. But for right now, Giants don't have anybody who can steal bases. Maybe Tyler Fitzgerald can swipe a few. He's got to get on base to do that, though. He did have a run or an RBI and a hit today. Tyler Fitzgerald did, but it's just not enough run manufacturing for the Giants. They're not very good at bunting. You've seen them try to do that a lot more recently. On the road trip, they were doing that a lot, but they're whiffing on a lot of bunts, man. They're not very good at laying them down. So it's been tough sledding for the Giants, who, again, they can't figure out how to move runners over. They strike out in key situations with runners on, on second base with no outs. They'll strike out a lot in those situations, things like that. You got to figure out you can't have unproductive outs right now. It's fine if you're grounding out into, but moving the runner over in the process when your offense is this bad, you got to figure out a way to scratch and claw and score and keep in the game. This has been tough, man. The Giants are just down in a bad way right now. Their offense has been putrid over the last couple weeks. It doesn't seem like it's really going to get any better. I don't really know where help is going to come from at this point. You can keep calling up the young guys, but I think that that's completely unrealistic to bring them up and place those kinds of expectations on them. This team needs to go make a trade. Flat out needs to go make a trade. And they did make actually a couple trades over. It was reported today that Dalton Jeffries and Mitch White were actually moved for cash considerations and a prospect. So 2 separate trades. But interesting that they're trying to shake some trees, do something. But that's not the kinds of trades that we need. Those are the typical, the very typical Farhan Zaidi trades that we've come to expect. Shout out AJ Pollock at the trade deadline last year. Blech, that was gross, terrible, one of the all-time worst Giants trade deadlines of ever. I mean, that was just awful. You to hold on to JD Davis and not trade Alex Cobb, but then you go get AJ Pollock, man. What a move. And I just really hope that the Giants don't sit on their hands this year like they did last year. This needs to happen. The Giants, by the way, I should mention their offense, terrible. Coming into tonight, over their last 14 games, they were their slash line was 228, 296, 340, all the way dating back to April 24th, averaging 2.93 runs per game in that span, scored 41 runs in 14 games. It's not going to get it done, man. That's really bad. It's really bad. The Giants are tied or 1 game back now with after scoring just 3 runs again tonight. They have 23 games with 3 runs or less. That's 1 game shy of the major league lead, which is not a category you want to be leading the major leagues in. The White Sox lead baseball with 24 games of 3 runs or less, and the White Sox have 1,000 fans at every game right now because they're so tired of seeing this bad team. So hopefully the Giants aren't headed down that direction, because that would suck. That would suck. We got to talk about something positive, though. On the other side, Dusty Baker news. Dusty got a pretty cool award pregame, so we got to talk about it. Dusty, who doesn't love some Dusty Baker news? I love Dusty Baker, and we got to talk about it on the other side. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. We will be right back. Today's show is sponsored by Policygenius. Shopping for life insurance is something that can be overwhelming for many people, and that's why I'm here to tell you about Policygenius. Policygenius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policygenius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million of coverage. That's pretty good, man. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. Policygenius helps you compare your options from top companies, and their team of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through it. Talk to a team of award-winning agents who will walk you through the process step by step. This is so important because many of you may not be as well covered as you think. Your work-life insurance policy also may not offer enough protection for your family's needs, and even worse, it may not come with you if you leave your job. Policygenius gives you unbiased advice from a licensed expert support team. They have no incentive to recommend one insurance over the other, so you can trust their guidance. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policygenius. Head to policygenius.com/lockedonmlb or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/lockedonmlb. Moms are a gift, so give her the best this Mother's Day. Get gifts as thoughtful as she is with DoorDash. Select from hundreds of expertly crafted bouquets to the best of tech to self-care essentials and more, delivered right to her door. Pair flowers with a gift card so she can celebrate any way she wants. Is she a bookworm? Try a bookstore gift card. Does she love a good latte? Give a gift card to her favorite coffee shop. You can't go wrong. Get thoughtful gifts she deserves with the convenience you need. Choose same-day delivery or schedule a week ahead when flowers and gifts should arrive to her door with DoorDash. Shop with savings that would make her proud. With a Dash Pass membership, you'll save with a $0 delivery fee and reduce service fees on eligible orders from Dash Pass merchants that meet the minimum subtotal. Other fees, including service fees, apply. Terms apply as well. Get all your Mother's Day gifts all in one place and get 50% off your next order up to $15 when you spend $15 or more on your next flower, convenience, grocery, or retail order now with code LOCKEDONMLB. That's LOCKEDONMLB. Order using DoorDash today. Terms apply. Welcome back to the Locked On Giants postcast. I'm your host, Eric Triple E Engel. And before we go ahead and get on out of here and wrap up this Giants 4-2 loss, another one at home, we got to talk about Dusty Baker. He was awarded Baseball Digest 2024 Lifetime Achievement Award. He was presented the award by John Shea. Shout out John Shea, media luminary for the San Francisco Chronicle, one of the nicest men in this Bay Area, like baseball sports writer scene. Like, I love John Shea, man. He's so nice, so responsive. And that's something that as a producer, former producer, I loved, because let me tell you, there's a lot of guys who just don't respond. And John Shea is not one of them. Great dude, John Shea. Anyways, John presented Dusty that award just before our first pitch today at Oracle Park. It was a fitting day to do it for a guy who spent a long time managing both the Giants and the Reds. And I mean, how do you not love Dusty Baker? This guy's been around the game forever. His first major league appearance was when he was 19 years old. This dude is like 80 years old now. Like, Dusty has been around forever. And he was out there at the yard today wearing this nice sweater vest thing. Like, it looked really cool. He looked like he was feeling himself. That was actually the thumbnail picture for today's show. So if you're interested in seeing what he was looking like in the drip, you can check out, just look at the thumbnail for what the show was. And this is a quick little excerpt from the Baseball Digest article. The award, which debuted in 2021, has had Willie Mays, Vin Scully, and Joe Torre as its first three recipients. Let's stop right there. Willie Mays, Vin Scully, Joe Torre, Dusty Baker. I mean, that's a list, man. Also, by the way, that's a lot of, I know Joe Torre had most of his good years were in New York, but that's Dodger, Giant. So West Coast baseball absolutely dominating this Baseball Digest Lifetime Achievement Award. Anyways, it's the only honor to be presented annually on a national basis by Major League Baseball. It gives a living individual whose career has been spent in or around Major League Baseball and who has made significant contributions to the game. This selection was made by the independently submitted votes of a distinguished panel of 18 longtime MLB participants and observers. That's the quote from the Baseball Digest article. Rob Manfred also said some nice things too, but honestly, even when Manfred is saying nice things about Dusty Baker, I really could not care any less about what that guy has to say, any less at all. Like there might not be a single person on the face of the planet that I want to hear talk less than Rob Manfred. Man, is there a worse commissioner in pro sports? Has there ever been a worse commissioner in pro sports besides Rob Manfred? Like that guy's just, whew. Anyways, shout out Dusty Baker, a great dude, a great baseball player, a great baseball manager. Like this guy, I mean, I can't think of a better guy to win a lifetime achievement award in this sport than Dusty Baker. Like you could name this award after Dusty Baker. That's how much of an impact this guy has had on baseball as a whole. And that's about all the time that we have for you guys today. And it's about all the positivity I can muster after this terrible Giants loss. So the only two positive things we can talk about, Dusty Baker, because who doesn't love some Dusty Baker, and Elliot Ramos. I guess Logan Webb, that's another positive, but it's just frustrating watching the Giants just spoil all of these Logan Webb starts. It was good to see him get back on track. I will say that he had a couple of rough outings his last two times out. It's nice that he made it past the fourth inning today. He made it 7 innings strong. So that's another positive there for Logan Webb. But aside from those three things, a lot of garbage out there for the Giants. I mean, this offense, terrible. The bullpen was okay. Eric Miller did give up that inside the park home run. The defense was bad today. He essentially gave up 2 runs because Tyler Fitzgerald was out there in center field instead of Slater or Jung-Hoo Lee. So you have a lot to go fix if you're the San Francisco Giants. A lot of things going wrong right now. You need to get a win. The winning solves all. Winning is the ultimate cure for a team that is struggling like they are. We're back home now. Need to figure out a way to get some wins at Oracle Park. That's about all the time we got for you guys today. Thanks for sticking with us on the Locked On Giants postcast. We'll be coming to you live tomorrow after the Giants take on the Reds in game 2 of this 3-game set before they face the Dodgers. And man, oh man, I really hope they can get a couple wins before playing the Dodgers, because that's going to be a tough series, man. I'm not looking forward to it. Anyways, we'll come to you live tomorrow after Giants Reds. Stick with us on the Locked On Giants post game tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you next time. Peace.